In the dimly lit confines of his apartment, Mark Reynolds, an ordinary man leading an unremarkable life, found himself ensnared in a web of inexplicable horror. It began with a simple text message, a message that would unravel the fabric of his reality. The first image arrived without warning. Mark's phone buzzed, and when he unlocked it, a chilling sight awaited him. A photograph displayed him, battered and bruised, in a place he couldn't recognize. The ominous shadows cast by unseen tormentors distorted his familiar features. Confusion gripped Mark as he frantically searched his memory for any recollection of the grim tableau. Yet nothing surfaced. The room, the pain etched on his face, all remained shrouded in an enigmatic fog that seemed to defy the very laws of his existence. Days passed, and the haunting images continued to arrive, one after another, each more gruesome than the last. Mark, tormented by a growing sense of dread, struggled to reconcile the brutality captured in the photographs with the mundane reality of his life. The unknown tormentors left no clues, only the visceral evidence of Mark's suffering. Scenes of torture, both psychological and physical, unfolded in a macabre sequence that defied the boundaries of reason. As the images accumulated, so did Mark's desperation to uncover the truth. Haunted by the spectral memories of pain he couldn't remember, Mark sought solace in the cold glow of his computer screen. Late into the night, he delved into the digital realm, tracing the origins of the malevolent messages that had become a relentless specter in his life. A cryptic online forum emerged, a haven for anonymous sadists who reveled in the suffering of their unsuspecting victims. Mark, confronted by the shadows of his own torment, discovered a community that thrived on the perverse pleasure of inflicting pain and erasing the memories of their victims. Driven by a desperate determination, Mark confronted the faceless perpetrators through the digital veil. A dialogue unfolded, a tense negotiation between the tormented and the tormentors. In the eerie glow of his apartment, Mark demanded answers that remained elusive. The faceless sadists, emboldened by the anonymity of the online realm, reveled in their power over Mark's shattered psyche. The more he pleaded for mercy, the more they reveled in the sadistic dance of control. The digital shadows cast by unseen hands toyed with Mark's sanity, pushing him to the brink of despair. In a final act of defiance, Mark turned the tables. Armed with a newfound resolve, he exposed the digital sadists to the light of justice. The shadows that had haunted him became vulnerable in the face of exposure. As the virtual walls of anonymity crumbled, Mark's tormentors scattered into the recesses of the digital abyss. The online forum, once a playground for sadistic pleasure, became a battlefield of justice. In the aftermath, Mark faced the harsh reality that the memories of his torture, though revealed to be orchestrated by faceless sadists, lingered as indelible scars on his psyche. The ominous shadows cast by the forgotten torments would forever shape his perception of a world that could be as cruel as the darkest recesses of the human mind. Mark, having exposed the malevolent sadists to the light of justice, found himself caught in the aftermath of the digital storm. The online forum, once a clandestine gathering place for tormentors, crumbled under the weight of public scrutiny. However, the scars of Mark's ordeal ran deeper than the exposed secrets of the virtual tormentors. The images, once confined to the digital realm, had imprinted themselves on the canvas of his consciousness. The shadows of the forgotten torments continued to cast a haunting pall over his daily life. Haunted by the spectral memories that refused to fade, Mark sought refuge in therapy. Dr. Elizabeth Hayes, a psychologist with expertise in trauma, became his anchor in the turbulent sea of his own fractured mind. Together, they navigated the labyrinth of Mark's subconscious, unraveling the enigma of his tortured memories. In the safety of Dr. Hayes' office, Mark began to piece together fragments of recollection. The images, once a jumbled puzzle of pain, slowly revealed the contours of a forgotten past. Buried beneath the layers of psychological trauma, Mark unearthed memories of a childhood shadowed by abuse and neglect. The sadists, in their digital sadism, had exploited the vulnerabilities of Mark's fractured past. The images of torture, though digitally fabricated, resonated with the genuine pain that had scarred his early years. The shadows of forgotten torment had become a twisted mirror reflecting the real traumas that lurked in the recesses of his memory. As therapy progressed, Mark confronted the demons of his past with newfound courage. The shadows, though still ominous, began to lose their power over him. Dr. Hayes, a guiding light in his journey of self-discovery, helped him forge a path toward healing. In a climactic session, Mark faced the most haunting image, the culmination of his digital torment. As he dissected the fabricated pain, he confronted the genuine scars that echoed in the depths of his subconscious. The shadows once overpowering began to retreat in the face of self-awareness. The therapy became a transformative odyssey, a journey through the shadows of forgotten traumas toward the light of self-acceptance. Mark, once ensnared in the malevolent dance of digital torment, emerged as a survivor with a newfound resilience. In the quiet solitude of her room, Emma woke to a presence that defied the logic of her reality. As the moon cast an eerie glow through the curtains, she found a little boy seated at the foot of her bed. His eyes, wide and innocent, fixated on her with a familiarity that sent shivers down her spine. "I'm your little brother, Emma," the boy said, his voice a gentle whisper that seemed to carry echoes of the unseen. His presence exuded an otherworldly calm, as if he had emerged from the shadows of a long-forgotten memory. Confusion gripped Emma's heart. She had no recollection of a younger brother. Her family consisted of her and her parents, no siblings in sight. The boy, however, seemed convinced of a familial connection that transcended the boundaries of her understanding. As Emma cautiously inquired about his origins, the boy spoke of a life intertwined with hers, a parallel existence that had remained concealed until this mysterious awakening. He recounted shared moments, whispered secrets, and a bond that defied the tangible reality Emma knew. A sense of foreboding gripped Emma as the room transformed into a realm where the supernatural and the mundane collided. Shadows danced on the periphery of her vision, and the air thickened with the weight of unseen forces that seemed to unravel the fabric of her perception. Desperate for answers, Emma ventured into the archives of her family history. Photographs and old albums revealed a chilling truth, images of her childhood, but with the addition of a face she had long forgotten. The little boy, now etched in the sepia tones of nostalgia, smiled back at her from the faded photographs. Emma's parents, confronted with the spectral presence of a long-lost son, reluctantly unveiled a tale shrouded in mystery. The boy, her younger brother, had succumbed to an illness at a tender age, an event they had buried deep within the recesses of their collective memory. As the revelation unfolded, the room pulsated with an otherworldly energy. The boundary between the living and the departed blurred, and the little boy's form seemed to waver between the ethereal and the tangible. Haunted by the echoes of the unseen, Emma grappled with the duality of her newfound reality. The little brother she never knew she had, now a spectral presence in her life, bridged the gap between the living and the departed. In the nights that followed, Emma found solace in the echoes of shared laughter and the warmth of a bond that transcended the mortal coil. The room, once a vessel of mystery and foreboding, became a sanctuary where the living and the departed coexisted in a delicate dance of memory and love. As Emma embraced the spectral presence of her long-lost brother, the room became a haven where the living and the departed coexisted in a delicate dance of shared memories. The echoes of their unseen connection manifested in subtle ways: soft laughter, whispers in the night, and the faint scent of a familiar childhood fragrance. In the daylight, Emma grappled with the complexities of her dual existence. The boy, forever frozen in the innocence of youth, became a silent companion in the tapestry of her daily life. His unseen presence painted the mundane with strokes of supernatural beauty, transforming the ordinary into an ethereal realm where time seemed to stand still. The town, once oblivious to the enigma within Emma's home, began to sense the subtle shifts in the fabric of reality. Whispers circulated among neighbors, and curious glances followed Emma as she navigated the delicate balance between the visible and the unseen. Despite the spectral nature of her brother's presence, Emma found solace in the ethereal connection that transcended the boundaries of life and death. In the quiet moments, she conversed with him, sharing the joys and tribulations of a life intertwined with the supernatural. As the years passed, the room that had borne witness to the union of the living and the departed transformed into a shrine of memories. Photographs, toys, and remnants of a childhood that spanned both realms adorned the space, creating a bridge between the tangible and the spectral. Emma's own existence became a testament to the mysteries that linger in the unseen corners of reality. The town, once apprehensive, gradually accepted the enigma within their midst, realizing that the boundaries between the living and the departed were fluid and porous. In the twilight of her life, Emma reflected on the profound journey she had undertaken, the discovery of a brother in the shadows of forgotten memories, and the subsequent fusion of the visible and the unseen. The room, now a repository of a transcendent bond, bore witness to a life enriched by the echoes of a connection that defied the constraints of mortality. As Emma's time on this earthly plane drew to a close, the room seemed to shimmer with a gentle luminescence. The spectral presence of her brother became more pronounced, and in the final moments, their connection transcended the confines of the physical. In the stillness of the room, Emma's spirit merged with the echoes of the unseen. The boundaries that had defined her existence dissipated, and the room became a vessel of transcendent energy, a sacred space where the living and the departed coalesced in a harmonious dance of eternal connection.